Howdy y'all, this is Ethan Bonreal back at it again, giving you that gay shit you love, and this time around we're doing a Q&A video. So I've been doing Let's Plays for about 4 years now, and I have about 1,300 subscribers, so I'm really blasting a lot of gay energy through time and space to a lot of people. And, y'all might have some questions about me, and I figured I might as well answer them, although this might be a little bit forced, honestly. I did ask y'all for questions, but I already talk a lot about my personal life in these videos. So, maybe y'all already know all that you want to know about me, but spoilers, you're getting even more. I'm worming it directly in your ears again. So the way this is going to work is I have a list of questions here. I am going to be walking around in Earthbound, because we already killed everything that there is to be killed in this game. So there's nothing really to stop me from just wandering around and rambling. And I'm going to answer these questions, and also, probably go on tangents on occasion, because that's what I'm about. I'm Ethan Bonreal, and I have ADD, and I perform my Let's Plays like it, so get in. But, the first question is, what is your degree in? And the answer to that is, I have a master's degree in public administration. And public administration is basically the management and operation of government offices. Where are you from? I am from San Antonio, Texas, and if you were curious, I live in a nice suburb that is literally right next to a rural community, which is very funny. It's a very funny set of contrasts. I've mentioned this before, but where I used to live, which was kind of a similar situation, I would be at my job and there would literally be suburban soccer moms hanging out, and then other times literal farmers with pitchforks wondering how all of these businesses got here, because they had never driven in this direction, and they didn't realize they lived so close to civilization, which is very funny. The next question is, do I have an Instagram you could follow? And the answer to that is no. I only use 2 bits of social media regularly. The first one is Tumblr. I'm not going to link my Tumblr just because that's a little bit too intimate. But if you really, really want to find me on Tumblr, it's not too hard. I promise you, if you look at all of my videos, and look through the descriptions, you can see the link to my Tumblr in the descriptions in some of my videos. So you'll have to do your own little bit of research, but again, it's not too hard. Other than that, I use Facebook, but I'm not giving that to y'all, so that's about it, really. I'm not really that big on social media. If I'm on something, it's usually because it gives me an opportunity to murder nerds, or, just think about stuff a lot. So I really don't use social media that often. Other than that, will you ever live stream? The answer to that is yes, and in fact, as a tidbit of information, I actually started off by doing streams. However, my attitude towards live streaming is very similar to my attitude about Let's Playing while you are a gay gamer, making stuff for gay people, is that it is very, very hard to keep the gays' attention. And I absolutely refuse to use a face cam, which is already a strike against me. And then I'm also not cute in the way that a face cam would really benefit me. So that's strike number 2. And then 3, the only other way to really get a lot of people's attention is to be playing a game with a lot of shirtless dudes, which is, part of the benefit of me doing the coming out on top videos and full service was that it got me a lot of fucking subscribers. However, it did not necessarily get me a subscriber base that looks at my other content, which is a little bit sad. Really the ballad of this channel and my eternal struggle is figuring out how to get all 100 or all 1,300 of these nerds that are subbed to me to engage with these fucking videos, because coming out on top and all that stuff, that has a great turnout. I have thousands of people, and in some cases tens of thousands of people looking at them. But with other stuff like this, it's 30 to 40 people usually, and that's where it basically stays. And that's not bad, and it doesn't make me sad, but like as a aspiring YouTuber, I would really like to figure out how to capture those nerds without the aforementioned stuff. Like I just can't be having shirtless guys in Earthbound, because that doesn't make sense. And then also, if you remember, I have a promise that I will dedicate myself to. I will never use fucking clickbait thumbnails to get people to watch my goddamn videos. I refuse to do it. But anyway, I'm open to live streaming again. I just don't think it will be particularly productive. So, what's the next question? Let's see. What is your favorite gaming console? You know, I think I got the most enjoyment out of my GameCube when I was younger. I had a lot of GameCube games, because that system had a very long lifespan, and so basically you could find a lot of cheap GameCube games eventually. It was pretty great. And the games that I enjoyed the most on it, I enjoyed the Pikmin series, and I loved Beautiful Joe 1 and 2. Oh my god, those were some of my favorite games, and I've talked about them a little bit before, but they really captured the essence of my love of competitive games, or more specifically, challenging yourself in a game, because those games were real fucking hard. Other than that, I would say also the Game Boy Advance, to be honest, and that's almost an extension of the GameCube, because those were basically very intimately linked in my experience as a young gay. You know, I would go home and lock myself in my room and play GameCube games, and then I would leave home and go to school and basically be on my Game Boy Advance all day and not interacting with other humans if I could help it. And it was great. It was great. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was very sad. But, you know, they brought me a lot of entertainment. For my Game Boy Advance games that I really loved the Mega Man Zero series. Those games were so fucking hard, and I loved the shit out of it, and I just felt so accomplished learning to play those better over time. In fact, I was really... If you want to know the truth, like the Ultra Mega truth, I almost did Mega Man Zero 1 and or 2 instead of doing Earthbound. But I promise you, if I was doing those games, this LP would not have... I would have stopped updating, because those games are hard, and it's very hard to commentate and play platforming games at the same time. But, I guess we can move on to the next question. So you know now, I'm a GameCube kid. I loved it. I loved the shit out of it. What TV shows are you into at the moment? So this is something that if you've watched me for a long time, you would know, or if you know me offline, you would know. I do not really care about media, and I don't really consume media. I don't care about TV shows, usually, and I don't care about movies, and I very, very barely know anything about pop culture or music. I literally just put all my stat points into playing video games and talking shit online. But the one show I keep up with regularly is Steven Universe, which is, I mean, it's a fucking cartoon, so... that's really about it. I used to watch a lot of anime, but I think I kind of grew out of the anime that gets imported to the US, because most of it is for teenagers, and I'm getting a little bit old for it, and then also some of it's kind of corny to me. But I do like anime, it is pretty neat. Other than that, you know, the only, series I've really watched from beginning to end, that's, live action, that's not a fucking cartoon, is Looking. I loved the shit out of the Looking series. Well, there are some definitely really, moments in it, and parts of the characterizations of the characters. But it's really refreshing to see a show with gay characters interacting with each other as friends, because, as I've said before, you know, I have a lot of gay friends, and I am involved with a lot of gay people in my personal life. And it's nice to see something that kind of reflects that, because a lot of gay media really depicts, you know, one gay person, their straight friends, and then their love interest. And that really doesn't reflect my life at all. Most of my friends are chronically single and gay and kind of nerdy and kind of awkward, and we really just all interact with each other. And some of us literally don't interact with straight people. I remember in college there were periods of times where I legitimately forgot straight people existed a little bit. Like, literally everyone I interacted with was gay, so... other than that, I'm trying to think of anything else I really like. I think that's about it. You know, the only other thing I really watch would be Let's Plays, and that's not necessarily a TV show. So, next question. What is your type, if you have one? So this is going to sound like a non-answer. I like a little bit of everything, and that's what everyone and their mom says, but I literally, truly have like a wide variety of body types that I really like. And I have a wide variety of appearances that I'm also interested in, and also, whoops, oh shit. Ness, thank you for escorting me home, ... There was something I wanted to tell you, but I've forgotten it. I'm sure I'll remember by the time I see you again. Well, I guess this is it. Goodbye. So long. See ya. Bye. And... it's just Ness again, so that's pretty hype. We got our main character back. So we're gonna keep going, and we're just not gonna have Paula here, because I forgot that you automatically deposit her at her home when you walk by it. But anyway, as far as my type goes, you know, I like a lot of things. I think... like, you've heard me say I like beards a lot on guys, and I like guys that are really hairy, but at the same time, I'm also really attracted to guys that are like the exact opposite. And that's really the duality of a lot of things. And you've heard me say this before, but you know, when you start hanging out with a lot of gay people, at least for me, and what I've observed in others, your type kind of broadens a little bit. Because you build up experiences with people, and you start finding gayness kind of cute, honestly. But it depends. It depends on the context, because there are definitely some gay scenes that will make you actually just hate other gay people, and do the exact opposite. But for me, it worked out just fine, and it just broadened my type a lot and my sensibilities. And, you know, I mentioned in the last video that I thought I was really just emotionally enamored with this idea of being with, like, maybe a boy next door, or like a jock or something when I was younger, but as I grew up, my type really broadened, and I learned to appreciate the feminine mystique XD. So, I guess y'all want a more concrete answer than that. You know, physically, I really like when guys have long hair. That usually is pretty attractive to me. And I really like guys with jet black hair, too. That tends to really be a big thing for me. Being good with kids, actually, is also a really... it makes me blush. I really like seeing guys that can be gentle, and kind towards children. And on top of that, also, I kind of like guys that are a little bit bitchy, and that are a little bit mean, because I'm a pretty mellow person, and sometimes I struggle motivating myself to be a little bit more active in being bothered by things, or like taking a stand with things, because I'm usually, I guess, not to be corny, I'm a little bit chill. And seeing guys who are a little bit more hot-blooded, that invigorates me, and I like seeing it, especially if they're really gay, too, because it's like, oh my god, you're so powerful, you're making me blush. But other than that, I don't know, you know, I also like guys who are pretty rugged sometimes, too, but, you know, it's just a different type of attraction, so again, I have a pretty broad type. So, let's see, what's the next question? My favorite part on the male body? Honestly, you would think I would say the whole booty cheek, or both of them, both of the booty cheeks, but the actual answer is the face. I love guys with very pretty faces, but at the same time, I think every guy's face is pretty, because I just love guys so much, they're all so cute. But I don't know. I tend to find people's big dorky faces nice. I like guys with big noses. Shout out to you if you're gay and you have a big ass honker on your face. Especially if it's a big ass nose that reveals your ethnicity. Because, oh man, I just love big noses. I don't know. Everyone in my family has a big nose. And that's just all I've ever been around. And so it's like I love them. It's the ideal human form for me, is just having a big old schnoz. Other than that, I like guys with really big cheeks on their face, like kind of chubby cheeks. I like that a lot. I think one of my very, very few turnoffs in a guy is when they have very, very narrow, faces. But even then, I've been attracted to someone who ended up being racist XD, who had a very narrow face. So I'm pretty flexible. You just have to not really piss me the fuck off. And there's a good chance I'll eventually find you attractive. And I'll backpedal a little bit. You know, really the easiest way to not get me to find you attractive is to not respect my boundaries. Because I've had plenty of guys. Actually, that's not true. I've had a few guys. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I've had a few guys who have shown interest in me, who basically just, in my opinion, they weren't even really that attracted to me specifically. They were just lonely and wanted company. And so they were just really flirting with me very heavily and not respecting my boundaries. Like, they would just demand to hang out and demand I drop everything I do to talk to them or entertain them. And that's toxic and that's annoying, basically. For one, because I'm gay and black and I'll do what I want and you're not going to guilt me into doing something I don't fucking want to. And then two, it's like, I think I do a pretty good job of communicating my limits and what I am interested in doing and what I am willing to do to other people or with other people. And when I say what I am okay with and you just ignore it and try to make me do something else, I'm gonna be mean to you. I'm gonna be a little bit mean because that's how I stop people from walking all over me, you know? But let's see, we have one more question here. Have you ever wanted to be straight? Oh, actually, I should probably finish answering the last question. So, for my other thing that's my favorite part of the male body, I like guys with big hips. Actually, it goes back and forth. So, on some guys, I like big hips, or like really wide hips. I like the booty meat. I like big legs, big thighs. But on other guys, I really like when they have really broad-ass shoulders. And that's very endearing to me. I actually saw someone I went to high school with, who was kind of a dorky straight boy I was friends with, and he's really sweet. And I had a tiny bit of a crush on him when we were in high school. But I saw him at my job a while ago, and I was like, "What the fuck? Why are your shoulders so broad?" And I was like, "When did you transform into a man?" Basically. And he was making me blush a little bit, but his shoulders are just so wide, like he could roost birds on them. It was pretty intense. But that's about it as far as my favorite male body parts. And the last question is, have you ever wanted to be straight? And the answer to that is, like, literally 100% no. I've just wanted people not to be fucking mean to me. Basically. I have no interest in being straight. And I don't really find straight guys that appealing in and of themselves. And I don't know if I've explicitly talked about this in a video, but I think part of the reason why guys are so into straight guys is basically, for one, they're repulsed by the idea of gayness and they're afraid of other gay people. And then two, at an emotional level, being gay kind of taints people in other people's minds, because people associate being gay with being really dramatic, and having very intense emotions. And so, in practice, what I think people are doing is basically, like, I don't want to deal with basically being with another gay person because I don't want to deal with them being really depressed and mentally ill and anxious all the time because they have to deal with homophobia. And I'm not saying that's explicitly what people are thinking about, but I think that's, like, internally something they're recognizing, because it's like, people really, 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 like, at all levels have a disgust towards other gay people. Like, it's not even just about gender presentation, although that's all a big thing, because a lot of people associate being gay with being feminine. And that's definitely marked, and that's definitely something that, you know, feeds into people's dislike of other gay people. But also, I think that just anything that has to do with other gay people tends to be kind of devalued. And I think a really good example of this is, you know, I've met a lot of guys who had, like, really big crushes on their straight friends, and they've had gay friends, but they just refuse to basically pursue any gay guy. Basically, again, because a lot of us have chronic depression, and we have a lot of insecurities that come from being treated homophobically, and so they're like, well, I want to be with a guy who's, like, really confident and doesn't fucking occasionally cry because people were mean to them. You know, it's like, I think that, like I've talked about before, straight guys are the standard that gay guys end up being held to, but, you know, it doesn't work out in our favor because, you know, we're not straight. We're gonna be a little bit different because we experience different things. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap up this video here. You know, I beat Earthbound. That's the end of this game. I'm done. I'm not gonna show the credits because I don't feel like it. Maybe I'll do that in a separate video. And this video's gone on long enough. But if you've stuck around for the full thing, I really appreciate it. I am glad to have y'all. I really am. It's really wild that I have this many subscribers, because I look at a lot of other gaming content that doesn't involve, like, clickbait lists of, like, top 5 LGBT characters in games, and it's always the same 5 or 4 characters. Or, like, top 5 hottest guys in games, and again, it's always the same 5 characters. And that's just not how I handle this channel, and for some reason, you know, y'all fucking ended up liking it, and I have people who keep coming back, and apparently my content is pretty engaging. But in the meantime, I'm Ethan Bonreal, and I'm Ethan Bon, done playing Earthbound, so I'll see you later. Have a good one.